Hello everyone. Of course we'd normally be doing this with you with a live audience here in the Alhambra Theatre, but Kylie and I are here this evening to take you through a bit of information that we think is really important in terms of what happens between now and the beginning of next year and life at the college in 2021. So my name's Pearce, I'm the principal of the college, and I'd like to begin by acknowledging that Kylie Hand and I, who are here this evening, one of our assistant principals, that we, like many of you in our audience this evening, are meeting on Jara country, the land of the Dja Dja Wurrung people, and I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. We usually begin by talking a little about our vision and what it is that we seek to do as a college, which is really about making sure that all of our students are as successful as they can be. So our purpose statement is really simple, that we try to empower individuals for individual community and global leadership. So it's very much for us about supporting every student. In doing that, we have a strong focus around our 4 key values, which are respect, optimism, learning and environment. And we'll articulate those really carefully for students at the beginning of next year. What we really want to do is to make sure that each of our students, first of all, completes through to the end of year 12 to set themselves up for success in later life and progression to further study or directly to work or some other form of training. So it's important to us that students work as hard as they can to try and keep their options open to them, no matter which direction it is that they want to proceed in. So our expectations are actually fairly simple. What we want is for all of our students to take responsibility for their own progress. We'll help, of course, we'll lead and we'll support and we'll direct students, but we really need to work in partnership with families, and we need individual students at the age that they're coming into Bendigo Senior. We need them to take responsibility for their own effort and their own future. So how successful students are, their level of achievement, all of those things ultimately depend on a range of factors, one of which is how hard students are prepared to work, how organised they are and how committed they are to their own success. Attendance is really important in that, as well as maintaining a really positive attitude and behaviour, not just towards study but towards life at the college in general. Our parents are really important partners in learning, of course. So that's more than just encouraging and supporting. That's important. I think we often get to this time of the year and think, or this stage of a child's education, and think that for parents perhaps it's time to sit back because of the students are at a certain age. It's actually more important than ever probably that students are really well supported by parents through year 11 and 12, where sometimes the pressure can be quite intense. Students' futures loom up really quickly in front of them. So the active engagement and support of parents is critically important. We need you to be monitoring the progress of your child, and we'll talk to you about how you can do that through Compass, but we need you also to be engaged in things that are happening here. If there's anything happening at home that may be impacting upon a student's attendance or learning, then please do let us know. And there are lots of other ways to become involved as well. So whether that's through participation in college council, whether it's through perhaps hosting international students. We have a number of groups through in a normal year here where we're often looking for host families. Contacting us, as I said, if there's anything that you feel that we need to know about or anything that you need to know about, and very importantly, attending parent-teacher interviews. So we provide a couple of opportunities for those, but we're here and available for parents every day of the year, and we need you to be engaged. I want to remind students and incoming students and parents about our mobile phone policy. We have Department of Education and Training policy right across schools in Victoria that mobile phones are banned during school hours, and for us that includes our study periods. What we do here is that we do allow students to access those phones during recess and lunchtime, and the reason for that is that sometimes our students might be off-site at those times, and we know that sometimes students need to be accessing their timetable and other critical information. So lunchtime and recess only. The full policies are on the full phone policy is on our website, and also on the Department of Education and Training website as well. But please remember that important message. There are good reasons for that. Phones can be a distraction, and there are a whole range of other reasons for that policy. We've found that it works really well, and we know that our students and parents have been really supportive with that policy. In terms of communication, and I touched on this a moment ago, we do try to reach out to you and to communicate it as strongly as we can, everything that we do here at the college. Compass is a key platform for doing that, and I know a lot of our students will be coming from schools where you're familiar with the use of Compass. Students coming from some other schools will not be. We'll help you to understand what Compass does. It's one of our key tools of communication. It's certainly a way in which parents can monitor not just attendance but also work completion and achievement levels. So that's important. It's a two-way communication. We'll help you understand the information that we're posting and how important and useful it can be to you. The first port of call often for our parents is to the student advisor. So we have a structure here where each student is part of an advisor group. And beyond the advisor, we have our student engagement coordinators who have responsibility for a group of students at Year 11 and 12. We have our assistant principal in charge of student engagement and wellbeing, Kylie Hand, who's here with me this evening. We provide the parent information evenings that I've already referred to twice a year, usually in April and August. So please keep your eye out for those. We'll provide you with a really comprehensive parent handbook that you can reference. That'll be available to you digitally, and it covers, we hope, just about everything that you need to know about the college. Our website is a really, really important source of information. It's very comprehensive, and I strongly encourage you to familiarise yourself with that and see how you can use that to keep up to date with things that are happening through the college. Our e-news that comes out on a very regular basis, all of those stories are posted on our website, but also available to you through other means as well, including usually a Compass notification. Increasingly, I think that we're finding that our parents are engaging strongly with our Facebook page. It gets great buy-in, not just from students, but from parents and extended family members as well. You'll find us on Facebook pretty easily. Please like that page and stay in touch with things that are happening here. We have a presence on Twitter, and we have a really active YouTube channel as well, where clips like this, recordings of this, will be available for you as well. So lots of ways to stay in touch and keep in touch with things that are happening at the college. At this stage of the presentation, I usually talk about voluntary college fees. I know that education can be an expensive business, and you'll receive a book list from us that itemises what you need to be paying next year for textbooks and other compulsory fees. But we do have a voluntary college fee as well. That usually we're asking parents, if you can manage this, to make a $200 contribution. It can come in instalments, but it's $200 either directly to our building fund or to our library trust. So both of those are Australian Taxation Office approved funds, and so the amounts that you contribute are fully tax deductible. The building fund is about supporting the maintenance and improvement of our college facilities here, and our library trust is about the funds there are used to not just purchase books and other learning materials, but resources for all of the students who access our library, and our library is a really heavy and very heavily used and very important part of our college. So I encourage you to consider that $200 donation, that voluntary donation, as a way to support all students at the college. At this point, I'd like to hand across to Kylie Hand, our Assistant Principal with responsibility for engagement and wellbeing, and she'll take you through the rest of this presentation.
And thank you, Dale. Good evening. So this evening I'm planning on taking you through some of the more practical elements about starting at Bendigo Senior. Dale's already mentioned to you briefly about the advisor model. Here at Bendigo Senior, every student that enrolls is allocated their own individual advisor, and each advisor is responsible for overseeing the academic progress, the attendance and the wellbeing of the students in their advisor group. So if at any point you have any concerns around your child's academic progress, or perhaps you, if you're the student and you've got any concerns, the advisor is always your first point of call, and they're a wonderful advocate for you here at the college. Every advisor group is then aligned to one of our student engagement coordinators as part of a year level team. So you'll see up on the screen at the moment, the Year 11 team. If you're coming into Year 11 with us next year, the 3 student engagement coordinators that are part of that team are Travis Matheson, Lauren Martin and Matt Callow. And each student will be aligned to one of the 3 of them. And then we also have the support of Jen Mullane, who is one of our education support staff, and she makes regular contact with families, particularly if there are any concerns around attendance or engagement. And I'm very lucky to be able to oversee the working of this team and all of our Year 11 students for next year. If you happen to be coming into Year 12 next year, then you will be supported by Laura, Tim or Alison. They are the 3 student engagement coordinators as part of the Year 12 team. Jan Densley does the student engagement support role within that team, and Michael Lennon oversees the work of that team and all of our Year 12 students. The student engagement coordinator is a really key point of contact, and as I said, every student will be allocated their own student engagement coordinator, and that name will appear on each student's photo ID, so they are very clear who they are aligned to. But the student engagement coordinator is responsible for keeping an eye on the student's entire program. Perhaps if there's any concerns with any subjects, then a student may go and see that particular coordinator. They monitor the students' progress towards meeting their VCE or their VCAL at any time, and they intervene when necessary. And if a student happens to become unwell, maybe they will need some reasonable adjustments made to some work, or they might need to apply for special provision, then the student engagement coordinator is the person that will certainly help them through all of that process. And both year level teams are located in our Student Services Centre, which is in the centre of our site here, and certainly one of the areas that we'll make sure that you're familiar with after you've been here on orientation day. I want to speak for a moment about attendance, and the importance of really good attendance cannot be understated. One of the consistent messages that we get from our most successful students is that they attend school every day. And if they're not attending school every day, it's for a really legitimate reason. And parents and carers can certainly help us and support the college and their student by notifying us as soon as you're aware of any legitimate reason as to why someone may need to miss a day of school. And that can be done via Compass or via our absence line. And notifying teachers ahead of time that students are going to be away is a really important way that they can set that student up so that they're not falling behind. We also ask our students that if they do need to miss a class for a legitimate reason, that they actually are proactive and contact their teacher, finding out exactly what it is that they've missed so that they can try and catch up before coming back into school the following day or whenever they are able to return. If, as a parent or carer, at any time you have any concerns about your child's attendance, please do make contact with the college, speak to your child's advisor, or contact a member of our year level team so that if we do need to put some extra support in place for the young person, that we are able to do that, and then together we can help support them to be successful. There are many opportunities that are available for students outside the classroom at Bendigo Senior, and normally if we had you here tonight we'd be able to show you many examples of the things that students do get involved in. They can include some leadership opportunities. You might choose to join our student leadership team, or there are other opportunities available for students in terms of leadership as well. We run regular college events. Some of them are whole week long events, others are simply running for certain lunchtimes and so on, but things like our Wellbeing Week, our Cultural Diversity Week, we have Bendigo Seniors Got Talent, a college formal. There's many opportunities for students to be involved. We also offer various roles, and many of these are also leadership roles around diversity and inclusivity, and we're very proud of how many of our students choose to be involved in being able to build their skills around those various roles. We also, in normal years, offer many travel opportunities for our students, either domestic travel and many opportunities for international travel as well. We certainly hope that those opportunities will be available for our students sooner rather than later, but obviously that is dependent on COVID restrictions. But we encourage all students to please look out via Compass or via our Facebook page and their advisor meetings for all of the wonderful opportunities that we do offer here at the college. All families in the last week or so have been sent information about how to access our online book list. We encourage all families to try and do that as soon as possible to make sure that they've submitted that on time. We definitely encourage everyone to please try and purchase as many items as possible secondhand. We run a Bendigo Senior Secondhand Books Facebook page, and we encourage all of our families to like that so that they can follow that page. And anything that you can purchase secondhand, please do so. As Dale mentioned before, education can be an expensive exercise. If you are purchasing anything secondhand, it is really important that you are checking that you're buying the right edition to make sure that you have got the right materials for your classes for next year. And if any family does require financial assistance or having difficulty in being able to access all of the materials, please do contact our general office where you'll be provided with a financial assistance guide for parents and carers that outlines a whole range of options that can help support families as they purchase all of the materials needed for next year. Now, I'm going to spend the next few minutes talking you through the transition program that is happening this week. Now, traditionally, that is a 6-day program where we would normally run a full-day orientation program where we would have all new students come into the college, and then that would be followed by a 5-day step-up program. But along with many other things, COVID has had other plans for us this year, so we do need to run a somewhat compromised program this year. Where every student will still complete a half-day orientation program here on site, and then that will be followed by 2 days of remote learning with the classes that you're enrolled in for next year. The reason why we've needed to do that is unfortunately, again, due to COVID restrictions, we're unable to mix school groups. So it's become impossible for us in a senior secondary environment to be able to run our classes as we would normally do. But we still believe that the opportunity that's coming up over these next few days is absolutely vital for all of you to be involved in. And I'll just step you through those days now. So the purpose of our orientation day is to always have our new incoming students on site on a day when it's just them here, so that they can become very familiar with our site, very comfortable with it, and hopefully really confident about how to find their classes and the rooms and other really important things like the cafe, the toilets, certain staff offices and so on. That will still happen, but we're running that over 2 days, and each person will participate in a half day depending on what college they're coming from. So if you're coming to us from Eaglehawk or Waroona, we will see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock. And if you're coming from a school that is not one of the Bendigo 7 to 10 colleges, we will see you tomorrow at 12:30. If you're coming to us from Bendigo South East, then we will see you this Wednesday at 9 o'clock, and we'll have Crusoe College students here on Wednesday from 12:30. You should have all received information by now about where you need to go when you do arrive at Bendigo Senior, so please assemble at that area, and then many of our staff will be there to welcome you and then to be able to take you to the classroom that you need to be in on that day. And although we can't run a full week of on-site classes as we normally would, we're still running that 2-day step-up program where every one of you will be involved in a virtual class or a remote learning class with each of the subjects that you have chosen for next year. And it's important that I just say that that's each of the subjects. You won't necessarily be in the same class as you will be in for next year, but you'll certainly be having an opportunity to be able to participate in each of the subjects that you've chosen, and hopefully get a really good idea about what to expect when you are in those classes for the following year. All of those classes will be conducted using the Google Meets platform, and there'll be lots of instructions given to you on your orientation day on how to access those, but it'll be very, very clear on which link that you need to follow to be able to access that particular class for you in the following 2 days. Please be aware that while the classes might be different, the teachers also might be different. So you'll get to meet a teacher of the subject that you've chosen, but not necessarily the teacher that you'll have for your class next year. And although you might not be in exactly the same classes, we've actually built our timetable based on subjects' choices and demand by each of our students. So there will only be very limited opportunity for students to be able to change out of those classes. If, however, there is an issue over the 2 days and you find that you're in a subject that for some reason isn't for you and there is an issue, we ask you to please email enrolments@bssc.edu.au and a member of our staff will be in touch with you around what support we can offer. It is so important that although we're not running classes on site, that you still attend. We still want you to sign in and participate in the classes that you do have over the 2 days at the end of this week. It is so very important so that you can have an understanding of what to expect next year, that you get to hear a little bit about what the subject has to offer, and very importantly, that you also get to receive the work that will be expected that is completed by the time you do start next year. We want every one of our students coming in being up to the same point as everyone else in their class so that they're ready to hit the ground running and to be really successful in 2021. Now, if we were in Ulumba and had our audience here, we would normally ask our students, some of our current students, to come in and talk to you about the experience that they had when they were transitioning to Bendigo Senior. We have actually interviewed those students and we've got those clips up on our webpage. So please do take the time to have a look at those as well, because they've got some wonderful insights into how that transition can be made that little bit easier for you. So please have a listen to them. And although you'll have an opportunity to be involved with the college this week, and then we're still here till the end of the year. We're here until the 17th of December. So if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to email us at enrolments@bssc.edu.au. And certainly we will send out information midway through January about the start of year processes as well and what that looks like. Each of you will have an opportunity to come in and meet with your advisor, the person that the mentor that you have allocated to you, and there'll be lots of information given out through that process as well in what we call our blast-off time. So to our students who are watching, we know that some of you might be a little bit nervous. We know that many of you will be very excited about coming here either tomorrow or on Wednesday, and we are very, very thrilled to be welcoming you here. So we very much look forward to seeing you all either tomorrow or on Wednesday and being able to show you around our wonderful college. And to the parents and carers, thank you very much for your time this evening and for listening to this. And thank you also for trusting us to be able to care for and to educate your child over the next 2 or more years. And we have a lot of faith that we're able to do both of those things very, very well. And we look forward to partnering with you to be able to give your child the best support that we can over their journey throughout over the next couple of years at Bendigo Senior. We've tried to cover what we can in this session. We realise we haven't covered everything. If you have any questions at all, please do join us at our live Q&A session that is starting at 7 o'clock this evening. Thank you very much for your time.